Okay, so here I'm going to show you how to make a surface revolve of a jar. So I'm going to go in here to New, to Part, and OK. Now as you can see, we've got our 3 planes over here on the left hand side. I'm going to click on my front plane, so right click and look normal to it. I'm going to start off with a center line in the middle. Now it doesn't have to be a center line, but I prefer using it as a construction line. I'm going to smart dimension that, and I'm making my overall height 220 mil. I'm then going to come along and I'm going to do another center. Because it's surfaces, I just prefer creating a hollow structure to start with. So I'm going to come out up here, 30, and at the bottom 40, not 4, sorry, double click on that, 40. Now if we zoom in here, I'm going to come up here to spline, and using my spline I'm going to create the shape that I require. Now to smart dimension that, we're going to go smart dimension. Please always smart dimension from the origin. So click here, click my point, drag down, we've got a 67. Click here, clicking down, 65. Click here, clicking down, 53. Oops. 55. And 40. Now you're going to notice that they're still blue. That's because we've done the horizontal divisions but not the vertical divisions. So I'm going to click my origin, click my point to come over to the right. You'll see I'm rounding down the numbers. It's up to you. You don't have to round them down, but I just think that it makes the drawing a lot neater if they're rounded down or rounded up. Sorry. Always from the origin, please, because the origin will not disappear. Now you'll see my spline has gone black. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to surfaces. Now if you don't have surfaces on your screen, you right click and you turn it on here. That's how you get surfaces. So we're going to surfaces, revolve surface, click my line and say yes. And I'm going to rename this now to be jar body surface revolve. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is, as you can see, it's hollow, so I'm going to fill it in. So I'm going to go up here to fill surface, and I'm going to click this top face. I'm going to say yes and rename that top surface fill. Then I'm going to click the bottom face, so fill surface, click it here and say yes. And that's going to be my bottom so that's my bottom surface fill. Now if I go to section here and I section, you'll see it's still hollow, okay, still hollow, so I'm going to X out that. I want to knit the surface together to make it solid, so I'm going to come up here to knit surface, and I'm going to click the top face, the middle body, and the bottom face. Try to form a solid, merge entities, and make sure this is not ticked. I'm going to say yes. And now when I section it, you'll see I've got a solid body like so. I'm going to just rename this. Lovely. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to get out of that for a second. I'm going to right click and look normal to this. I'm going to sketch a little circle up here, and this circle is going to be in contact with the lid. Smart dimension. I'm going to smart dimension that to be 50. And features, extrude boss base. I'm just going to extrude that for 5, just to make a little indent up. That's what my jar is going to sit on. Very important when you're renaming stuff that it makes sense to you what it's called. Now finally I want to make it into a jar. So I'm just going to click here on shell, click my top face. I'd like to have a material thickness of 4. I'm going to make my glass 4. Show preview, and as you can see, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to section now, and as you can see now, I have a lovely surface which has a thickness, symmetrical thickness going the whole way around it, but is also hollow. And that's how we create our body.